In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up an agent to monitor the property market for you as you go about your business. Typically, how people would work is if they've got multiple geographies to keep an eye on to monitor if prices are going up or down on changes in property values, they would have to hire somebody to do this. But right now, you've got agents that can do this for you 24/7 and produce you a report weekly on a weekly basis. So if you have a look at what's on the screen now, I've got a weekly intelligence brief. This was the first report that I ran in order to get an idea as to the baseline from which we're monitoring going forward so that we can work out the trends. So, the first time you run this report, it will get you the initial values, the gross yield, the asking price for properties, the average asking price, and how many properties are on the market. So the next time you run it, it will be working based on the previous baseline. So it increases on a weekly basis. And if you want trend graphs and you want to enhance some of the analytics around it, you can always do that as well. But for now, let's look at this intelligence report. Now, how does this work? All you need to do is a very, very simple change that you have to make to your to the setup. You'd have a watch list file which contains the different postcodes. So if you're in the UK, it'll be the outer code, so not E1. The first section of the postcode is what you put in this watch list. That's what it uses. I think that corresponds with a district. So you set up the district and just let it run. And every week it would run and produce you a report. Now, as this series is about Claude Code skills and setting up of agents, it's also worth showing you what the skill looks like. So the skill is this file here, and a skill is a file that contains instructions as to what your agent should be doing. So every week, this would execute and run against the districts or the postcodes you've got in the watch list file. And if you wanted to set this up for yourself, all you have to do is create a folder structure similar to what I've got here. So you've got the the parent folder, then within that folder you'd have a claw.md file. So that's something similar to this. And then you'd also want to create a .claude folder, a skills folder within .claude, and then within that one you'd have a market watch folder, and that's where you place a skill. So what does the skill do? It just gives the agent a description of what it needs to be doing, and here is the description that it's using. So run a weekly intelligence brief across all postcodes in the watch list. That's exactly what it does. And in order to trigger this, if you wanted to trigger it manually and not have it run as a scheduled task, all you do is write / market watch, and that's all you have to do, and it goes off and executes. When it's running, it would look for the previous baseline, and that previous baseline is saved in a file like this. Okay, so it executes, and that's it. That's your first run, your second run, your third run, your fifth run. It keeps going. And you can also change the threshold. So right now the default threshold is if something changes by 2% or more, you'd get notified. But you can also change the threshold if you want a bit more information, or if you want less noise, you can increase it to beyond 2%. So let's have a look at the report from the first from April. Okay, right. So the last one was run 21st March. That was the baseline run, and then the next one is April. So have a look at that. See the significant changes. So if you recall from the watch list, we're looking at three different postcodes. So SE1, SW6, and EC1. What are the changes? Right, look over here, SW6. So this section here is showing you the movements. So the average price has increased in SW6, and it's gone from 952,218 to 985,157. So that's within the space of 2 weeks, or even less. So those are changes you want to be keeping an eye on. So if you're an investor, that could be good news. That might be bad news for you. But in the same time, which makes sense. As the price is going up, the yield goes down, and that's actually expected. So, how many sales per month? That shows us that there are more sales within the last 14 days. So there was 46, and then now there are 50. So there are 50, there are four more sales going on. So that means that people are buying. So stuff is trading. So that's the sort of information you'd want if you're an investor to determine if you want to offload anything, or if you want to go into the market to do some purchases. So if you look at E1, this bit here, how many sales in the month dropped by 2.9%. That means it's softening a bit. It's not a huge number, but that could be the direction of travel, and you may want to know that, so that if there are fewer sales, that means prices you could potentially negotiate with sellers. And then finally on EC1, you've got an increase in yield. So you could do this for however many postcodes you want to monitor, or however many districts you want to look at. And this would run every week and send you a message highlighting anything that's changed by 2%, or if you change the threshold by whatever value you've put in there. So that's really it for this session. So you've got something that's helping you watch the market. It's helping you keep abreast of the latest changes in the territories that you're interested in. You can put as many postcodes as you want, and this will just run by default on the schedule, and it can send you a message to your Telegram or to your WhatsApp or whatever you configure. Maybe it might be Slack, and it all works. But the key bit that you should be thinking of is, how can I get these agents to help me stay on top of the latest trends and the latest changes? So that's it for today. In the next video, I'll be looking at the leading indicators that precede gentrification. So we'll look at some data that helps us determine where things are likely to change, and where improvements are likely to be made, so that we can go in and invest beforehand. So until next time, subscribe to receive notifications of the videos that I'm releasing. But until then, keep winning.